We all know where this is going. So, as long-time and short-time viewers of this channel will know, this is the... Oh, take the amber gel off your light, Pink. Sorry, I keep it there so that at nighttime it doesn't hurt my eyes as much, but then I forget to take it off, like in the last video where everything was orange. So, this is the Yamaha SHS-500 Sonogenic Keytar. It was released in, I don't remember when, let's put it on the screen right here. Now that I'm editing in Final Cut instead of in iMovie, I can actually put the titles anywhere I want. Everything that happened before 2020 happened 50 years ago, so this is built on the same body as this. No, come off the shelf, please! As this. This is the Yamaha VKB-100 Vocaloid Keyboard. They say it's a keyboard and not a keytar. On the other hand, Mad Cats and Rock Band also said that this is a keyboard and not a keytar. I used it for a prop in a video I never made. There's a lot of problems with it, but strap buttons, neck, keytar. When I mess up and refer to it as the Vocaloid Keytar, rest assured, I know it's wrong. There was a blue tie at Goodwill, but it was $3 more expensive, and I was not that dedicated to this joke. So, it shares the same body. This body was built and designed for the Vocaloid Keytar, and this instrument was because they already had the body and wanted to market it to a more Western audience. And I've complained about this keytar so much that there is a playlist on my channel of me complaining about the SHS-500 Sonogenic Keytar, which, for the record, I'm probably going to call the Sonogenic several times, despite the fact that over here, sorry, horsey, over here, we have the SHS-300 Sonogenic Keytar, which I will probably call the SHS-300. The thing that makes them sonogenic is something they share, but the way that they both interact with that thing really changes how they function. My bra straps are being so weird right now, aren't they? Did that again. Anyway. That wasn't even conscious, that was just a thing I did. Anyhow, I have complained quite a bit about how this is a poorly designed keytar, but mostly what offends me about it is the fact that Yamaha decided that the keytar market was not full of people who want to make actual music. And what I've realized from this is that they realized that the keytar market in the United States and etc. There are two countries in the Western world, the United States and etc. I've lived in America my whole life, and I can assure you that that is how most people believe this world works here. I'm so tired of saying I don't like this and getting comments that say, well, you don't like it because it's bad, because it's the reversion of the Vocaloid Keytar, and I want to be able to say, yes, this keytar? I know, I'm aware of that. Please stop explaining to me how this works when I explain that I know that 2 minutes later in the video. Okay, so Yamaha thinks that the Japanese market does have a niche for weird novelty keytars that would be played by someone who's serious about music. They just didn't think that that would translate well to something that they want to market in the Western world. So if you came to this video because you're one of my subscribers, hi. And if you came here because you're searching up the difference between the two, the answer you're looking for is yes, this is a better keytar, and no, you probably shouldn't buy it. Video's done. The next 20 minutes are going to be images of my cat and videos of my dog. I miss my dog. She died earlier this year. Do you need me to let you out? Is that what you want? Do you gotta go out? What you got there, Midnight? What you got there? What are you hiding? What are you trying to hide from us? Oh wait, so you want to know why? If we're just talking no gimmicks, just the instrument themselves, let's turn these guys on. This one takes about 6 times as long to boot up as this one. You have to go out of the headphone jack on this. Oh my god, my eye itches and I can't scratch it because I have winged eyeliner on. Hi, Editing Pink here. This is what the other side of the room looks like, And I just want to let you know that when you see me looking down and to the left in this video, it is because I keep seeing the blue spirally things in my hair and getting distracted. I didn't realize it was this bad until I was editing, so I apologize. So you can look up how many voices there are, how much it weighs, what size it is, and you're not really here for me to tell you that information that you can get by reading a manual. If you're here, you're probably here because of that over there, because you want to know about the indefinable other that you can only get by actually playing the instruments, instead of just by reading whatever Yamaha says is the difference between them. By the way, Google Translate is much better than it was in 2007 when I was trying to translate lyrics to Utada Hikaru songs because we were all obsessed with her over on this Code Lyoko forum that I went on a lot in high school. Google Translate's come a long way, and I can generally understand what's being said, but when I'm reading the manual and it's been translated, it occasionally translates certain things like what I would probably assume is the keyboard is ready to receive a Bluetooth message. Translates to, I'm listening to you. So, there we go, there's the clap snap again. What is happening? Why do I do that now? I didn't plan to do that, that's just happening. Boop. I don't know why I have that mask, it just showed up. Also, I have a retractable tape measure, which I didn't realize until I'm holding it. We're trying to review some keytars here, aren't we? Stats-wise, not talking about the gimmicks, we're not talking about jam mode, we're not talking about the Vocaloid, and as a side note, it is offensive to the Vocaloid software that's in here that I just called it a gimmick, but it is very flattering to jam mode for me to call it a gimmick and not a nuisance. So we're balancing some things out here. Why am I not plugged in? Why are you playing from the main speaker? Why do you not think I'm plugged in? Why are you... Sometimes the SHS 500 does things I don't understand. Okay, so does it play out of the speaker unless I have the volume all the way down? I'm very lost right now. This has never done this to me before in all the time that I've owned it. And I've played it quite a bit because I've tried so hard to like this. So it has 28 sounds and 2 drums. Then down here it has a sustain button. It's just got one button right here. There's only one. There's one button, just this one. And it's got this garbage volume wheel down here that apparently... See? See? Now it's doing volume. It's not coming out. Why was it doing that? Why was it doing that? I don't like when I don't know why it's doing things. Look, look, I was about to do the clap snap. Where is this from? What is happening? What is happening? Is it because of this? Is it because of this? The main thing to note is that it has a menu that lets you control the functions of it from the keyboard side. And then it has sustain, filter, and mod, and a bunch of effects down here. And it has 28 sounds and 2 drum sets. Nothing on this persists when it's turned off. When you turn it on, it always is in the same settings. Oh, and this has a speaker on the back. It's that size, it's not very big, it's not very loud, and it's pointed in the wrong direction. What's happening? Oh, I know what's happening. I know what's happening. See, remember when I said that this has a pitch and a modulation wheel that's usually set to vibrato? This has a pitch wheel and an expression wheel. It has an expression wheel, which honestly I find more useful. But let's get back to this from the start. Transpose, you have buttons that are only used when you're in Vocaloid mode. You have 3 buttons that control memory settings for specific effects settings, because this also has effects in it. And you can recall those effects settings with a single press of the button once you've set up which memory ones you want. You have the 2 buttons down here, whereas this one only has 1 and a piece of tape. This one has a button for sustain and a button that does portamento, which means, yes, you can Yes, you can play February Air on it. If you're judging a Yamaha Keytar by its ability to play February Air by lights, then honestly, this is probably the best one if you're not going to get the SHS-10. That was not the question you came here to have answered. Now, this one has 12 sounds and an applause track. Let's be real, that's not why you're getting it, so let's talk real fast about the gimmicks, nuisances, and features. These have jam mode, and I hate jam mode. We're gonna play this song, because I don't think that they're gonna copyright strike me, so jam mode does the backing track mode, where I can play any keys, and it'll make a decent chord. So then you can start the song, and here's where the fun begins. See, once you turn on jam mode, you don't have to think or be a musician or try to achieve anything. I can't believe it just cut off. I don't feel like I've been talking for 26 minutes. Maybe I'm just having a lot of trouble focusing. I know I'm having a lot of trouble focusing. But usually I get like 2/3 of the way through the video, and we are still on phase 1. Anyhow, you turn on jam mode, you get to turn off your brain, so... So as you can see, I was having a lot of fun there. Jam mode is fun. Jam mode is not fun, and on this particular Keytar, it's laid out where jam mode is a thing that you would hit while you're trying to hit other buttons you might actually want to play, like sustain, which is why my keyboard has no jam mode button. So that is the gimmick of both of the Sonogenic Keytars. I get that the reason why the buttons are where they are is that this is a retool of this body. But what I've said before, and will continue to say, is that where they chose to put the buttons is wrong, and the concept of jam mode, it's just flawed from the get-go. You know why Guitar Hero's fun is because even if you're not playing, you can still have good... I just got that right, I just got a high score. There's no high score with jam mode because there's no wrong notes. Jam mode is not fun. I didn't think this video would be me just complaining about jam mode again, but now that I think about it, why would it not be? A large portion of this Keytar you have to control from the smartphone app. And I did manage to download the smartphone app, even though I'm not in Japan. It really helps if you know some Japanese so that you can tell what buttons you're pressing. But what I've been doing instead is screenshotting the screen, opening up Google Translate, and then highlighting the section I want to know, going back to the app, clicking that button, there's a new screen, screenshot that, go over to, and you know, just find things that way. It's very time consuming, it's very slow, and that's why I haven't gone through the entire app at the time of filming this. I only got 2 days off in a row this week. I need one of those days to edit, so we don't have time for me to learn Japanese. So we are going to be using what I hope are the default lyrics. Don't turn off, no! Why did I turn you off? I am really, really hoping that the lyrics that we're using here are, in fact, not like profanity. I'm hoping these are the default lyrics. I believe I got this new, but if I bought this used, because I didn't read very much on the settings, I just went on eBay and bought the cheapest one of these that they had. I went on eBay, and I bought the cheapest RK100S that was on eBay. And it is apparently in bad shape, but fully functional. Oh my god! Okay, what does that say? So here's another fun thing. For reasons that I did not understand, when you plug this one into an amp, you lose the ability to control it with the volume wheel down here, unless whatever just happened to me a couple minutes ago happens. And I never understood why that was, but now that I know that this has a volume control on the neck, it makes so much more sense. Let me look at where the line goes. You program lyrics into this from the app, and then when you play the keyboard, they sing it. Which I'm probably pausing in completely inappropriate places for the words. But the thing that's really impressive about this, you set the lyrics in the app, but you control the notes from the keyboard. And you don't just control the notes, you have the ability to start and restart lyrics from these buttons down here to restart a line. You have your control of vocal effects and the pitch. The pitch bend sounds really good. It sounds a lot more like singing than I really expected it to. You get a function to loop the current syllable you're on. And you have a function to start humming in the middle of it. The new. That combination of that and the looping a syllable, the little vocal ticks, the vocal, what are they? Tricks, the vocal things, these buttons here, gets you a really much more realistic singer than I was expecting. I was expecting it to sound computerized, and it does, but I wasn't expecting to have the control over inflection that it has. I am hoping so much that whatever she's saying is not profanity and is not inappropriate, because I am just relying on the fact that I think this is a new keyboard, and I'm assuming Yamaha is not programming the fuck word into any of their songs. But it's really hard to find a lot of this in English, and so that is where we get to, yes, it's a better Keytar, but no, you probably shouldn't buy it. Everything that I've had to do for this video with this Keytar has been 10 times more difficult than I was expecting it to be, so I haven't picked it up and gone through the whole manual the same way that I normally would. As it is, I have figured out how to sync it to my app. I figured out how to download an additional voice, but I don't know if I actually pulled the voice up on the keyboard. This video is going to be so long, and 80% of it's not me talking about the keyboard. And I still don't know how to program in lyrics, and most importantly, even if I wanted to, I can't program lyrics in English. I think that Yamaha probably made a good call when they didn't export this for the Western market. I think that what they chose to export instead is highly flawed, but I think they made a good call when they said translating all this to English is going to be very, very difficult, and it's going to be a specialty thing that nobody wants. I think they then went the wrong direction with saying, well, let's make a thing everybody wants, because when they made a thing that they thought everyone would want, they just made a thing that nobody wants. And, you know, that's a disappointment, but that said, it is a better instrument. The way that things are set up, these memory options, makes a lot of sense. I can't believe I didn't mention that these two buttons down at the bottom, the way that they are mismanaged on the SHS 500 just really, really annoys me. I talked about the exit button and how awful it is in my other video, because I fucking hate it. Oh good, now we're back in jam mode. Why are there lights here that flash when you go forward and backwards? Because they serve a purpose here to indicate that something is on or off. There's a difference in what it feels like these are made to do, how they play out in their relationship to the smart devices that they're connected to. That was good. Use that take. The Vocaloid Keytar, you take your app, you set it up for playing, and then all those very customizable functions are in the keyboard, and you don't need to interact with the app once you have what you want set up. and then when you change your mind, you have all the options to go back into the app via aggressive Google Translate and change it to be what you want for the next performance, and then you go back and it's a single standalone instrument once again. I should get the cat, shouldn't I? Should I get the cat? I don't remember where we were in the subject of keytars, though. Oh yeah, the way that they interact with the apps. Let's get more coffee in it. Vocaloid Keyboard. Set up what you want the keyboard to do in the app, then you can control all of it without the app. And the SHS 500 is built completely opposite. It is decided that the keyboard controls the app, and you use the app to play, and the keyboard gives you control of that. I want to like that setup, but it ends up, again, feeling like they don't think you're a real musician. I fucking hate the exit button here. I don't like that the exit button only exists to exit the menu, when the exit button could very easily also exist to exit jam mode. Jam mode off, please. Jam mode off, please. There's a lot of things they could have done different. I did a whole video on that. But the thing that I really... Good design matters. It matters when something is well designed. When you have something that is built to be complete and intuitive, it's one of the things, it's why the AX Edge is maybe my favorite keytar. It's my favorite synth keytar, at least, because every element was thought out with how can we get expression into this sound in an instinctive way? How can we allow you to modify this sound in a way that feels natural? If I have my hand on the pitch strip, then my thumb goes to the buttons that I would use. The good design of this instrument makes it my favorite, even though it's not really my personal style of keytar. The fact that the Sonogenic is so poorly designed should also matter. When each feature is thought out to make sense, that impacts how you feel about the instrument. And because what they did to build this is the opposite of what they did to build this, and it makes sense that it's the opposite, I understand how the design process works. They said, what do we need to make this function? You need a screen so that you can see the lyrics. Because we already have the Vocaloid software, we use these functions, so we want to put these functions on the keytar. We want the I swear to God, it only ever cuts off when I'm in the middle of something. They say, these are the functions the Vocaloid software can already do. We looked through these functions and we said, these are the ones that are going to be the most necessary for playing Vocaloid live. And now that we know we have these functions and we want to use them, what else do we need? I will say that the octave shift on this... Oh. Woo, that was loud, buddy! The octave shift just jumps you up an octave, which actually makes a lot of sense if you're just working with the Vocaloids, because the Vocaloid software doesn't sound really good when you go up or down 3 octaves. Why am I still on the applause track? We need all these functions to be available to your hand up here. That makes sense. The memory recall makes sense why it would be up there. That allows you to adjust the effects down here without needing to stop playing with your right hand, which is a function that you just absolutely don't have on the SHS 500. If you want to control the effects, you either need to go into the menu and program whichever effect you want to be your mod, which means that you lose your vibrato, or you need to stop playing with your right hand to control the effects. Whereas here you can control the effects, program which ones you want, and then if you need to change effects while you're playing, you have buttons to do that. And I don't know why they took that away. But the thing that frustrates me the most about this is that the settings on this persist when you turn it off. So if we just had that ability on this, where I could say, I want my portamento speed to be this, I want my portamento to be turned on, I want my mod wheel to be set to low pass filter, all those functions, and then I can turn it off and turn it back on, and it will still be there, and I don't have to go into the menu and set all of that again, that'd be wonderful. I started going like largely decaf or half decaf. I'm not sure if they gave me decaf today. They might have been full calf, because I don't know what's happening. There we are again. Anyhow, if we're talking about the gimmicks and specialty functions that make each keytar unique, the SHS 300 has the gimmick of having jam mode, which you probably won't use, but also probably won't turn on accidentally. The SHS 500 has the disadvantage of having jam mode so heavily integrated into what it is, that if you think jam mode is stupid, and you should, what are you gonna do? It's there. You can't get around it. It's like if you have something really stinky in your fridge, and you have to take it out, because every time you get in the fridge, there it is, it's the stinky thing. Your neighbor bought Super Brie or something like that. It's like Brie, but stinkier. Super Brie. Didn't put it in a baggie, it's just there, it's just floating around. Ugh. Anyway, and I've made a whole video comparing these two, so I don't know why I'm comparing them so much, but the SHS 300 has jam mode, but doesn't think it's necessary to enjoy the keytar. The SHS 500 has jam mode and thinks that you're gonna love it so much that you will never want to play real music ever again. And the Vocaloid Keytar knows that it's a bizarre specialty thing, but thinks that people who are going to purchase it are going to be dedicated enough to the idea and who are already going to want the function that they're also going to want to enjoy controlling every element of it. Or, in other words, this has a specialty function that puts you in control of something specific, and this has a specialty function that can take away all of your control and allow you to be very generic. How do you say it nicely? It's not that difficult to get all of the information about it. It's not hard to find the manual. It's not hard to get the app. It's not hard to get the instruments. I know that I am having a lot of difficulty getting the most out of it. The features I can use are not inferior to other keytars I own, but I know that this has a huge amount of work and construction and development in it, and it has a lot of technology that I would like to use, but I can't because of a language barrier. That said, I did successfully use it as a backing track on a song that I recently wrote. I've got a big project coming up, and only the people who follow me on Patreon are going to be the ones, people who follow me on Patreon and my IRL roommates who are not going to be able to escape it, are the ones who know what's coming up with that, who get to hear it in advance, things like that. So it's, you can check out Patreon. I think I have like 4 or 5 different original musical shitposting instrumental tracks that you can download once you sub. They're available to all subscription tiers. So if you want to reward me for some senseless pandering, subscribe, hit the like button, leave a comment. It doesn't even need to be about keytars. In fact, maybe the best thing it could be about is my cat. So let's go get the cat. I'll be right back. Hey, Keys. Guess what? You live with your rent-free. We gotta get you to stare at the video. Right here. There she is. There's the Keytar kitty. Are you purring? I don't know if I've mentioned this on this video, but she has enormous feet. Look at that foot. It's gigantic. Ah, hi. What's up?
Do you have a crochet hook I can borrow to unplug my vacuum cleaner?
That's a very specific question. Yeah. So yes, it's cheaper to buy a house than it is to have cancer. What were we talking about? Keytars. It's always keytars. I don't know how I keep losing the train of thought when all I talk about on this channel is keytars and my cat.